Computer assignment number 2, correlation. We'll be using both Excel and SPSS to calculate a correlational coefficient, and we'll be using Excel to calculate a scatterplot as well. So let's start with Excel. First thing we want to learn about is how to enter data. We enter data the same way we entered it for computer exercise 1. We're going to put some nice labels in, copy this data right here into your Excel spreadsheet. Make sure your numbers are correct. One number off is going to mess everything up, so double check your entry. Then we're going to generate a scatter plot, just like we sort of did a column chart in computer exercise 1. Instead of selecting column though, we're going to select scatter. This is sort of the default representative of the scatter plot, and I'm going to want you to clean it up a little bit so it looks more representative of a true scatter plot with data labels and a better representation of the scattering. Then finally, calculating a correlational coefficient. We do that with this command, equals Correl, open parentheses, then you're going to grab all the data of interest, one set of data, a comma that you have to put in, and the second row of data, and then just enter and you should get your correlation coefficient. All right, let's go to Excel and see if we can do that. So we go to Excel. I've already entered the data for the sake of time. Here are our labels. There's our data points all in right there, very simple and straightforward. To generate a scatter plot, the first thing we have to do is grab the data of interest, just the data, no labels. Then you're going to do, well, if I started at home, you would go to Insert, and then there's the scatter feature right there. Scatter plot, we used column for the first assignment. We're going to use scatter for this one. Very simple scatter, no lines, and there it is right there, the default representation. Very nice. We want to get rid of series 1, click on it and delete. We want to get rid of these lines, click on them and delete. We want to adjust the space a little bit. So let's right click on this axis, go to format axes. I think we want the cutoff about here at the 10 point. So let's go to the minimum value, fixed is 10. We can just hit enter, there it is. Notice how it gives us a better representation. We can do a little better representing here, maybe at about 40 and maybe 110. Let's try that. So we just right click on that. We have a minimum set of 40 and a maximum set at 110. That looks pretty good. That's a good representation of our data. Now we want to insert some axes titles. If you remember how to do that, you go into Layout, Axis Titles, Primary Horizontal Axis, Title below, and there's the axis. And in Computer Exercise 1, I grabbed this and I corrected it, but also you can do is just type what you want in the bar, Quiz 1, and hit Enter, and it automatically goes right into the data label. You can do Axis Title Vertical, and remember we wanted to rotate that. And I'm just going to type that in, exam 1, right there, enter. There it is, beautiful. You can go to design and change the color of the dots if you'd like. There you go. We have a nice representation of a scatter plot. Now the last thing we want to do is calculate the correlational coefficient, and we do that with this function. So right about here, you would go equals CORREL, open the parentheses. When we grab one set of data, you can either go top down or bottom up, that's fine. But when you grab it, you want to put a comma next to it in the formula, and then grab the second batch, and you should be able to just hit enter, and there's your correlational coefficient. That's how you use Excel to create a scatter plot and a correlational coefficient.